All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about furniture cost and quantity schedules in Revit. My name is Brian Weeks. I am a senior AEC technical specialist at atgusa.com. Tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in the business for 23 years. Covered all the bases, all the check marks, so to say, in the field of architecture, and also Revit. With my experience with Revit, that brought me to ATG, and my experience with architecture also brought me to ATG through a program that they started a couple of years ago called Team Augmentation. And what Team Augmentation means is that I get to still design and practice and do all my architecture that I used to do in a firm, but with ATG I get to help multiple firms out. And so I can work with your company if you get behind on projects, you need help with red lines, maybe you just don't have the manpower to model your as-builts, and you need to get those projects done, even renderings, creating families or company templates. I can do all of the above. Now, ATG, we have about 23 to 24 people on staff that cover the AEC, civil, structural, MEP side of the business. And so we all have that experience. The other thing I like to mention is that we're all within the US. So we're not outsourcing this work that you give to us. We're all across the US and work directly with you just as if we were a part of your team. So if you have that need, definitely contact us, contact ATG, let us know. And who knows, you may get to work with me on your project. I also like to mention that today I am presenting exclusively on a BIM box. I have the Striker M mobile workstation version. If your company is looking for new workstations, definitely contact us and let us know. We can have a demo set up with benchmarks and compare your current system to this system. It's an amazing computer. This is the fastest computer I've ever worked on in 20 plus years of architecture. I have clients that I'm able to, especially during this past year with COVID, that I've been able to work from home, run Revit, Enscape rendering, and Zoom simultaneously with my clients, and make changes while we're discussing their needs and changes in the project. So definitely an amazing machine. And if that's something that your firm is looking to update, definitely give us a call on that as well. Now today we're going to talk, of course, about creating schedules in Revit. And it's always been a pain point within Revit of trying to manipulate that data that you create, whatever that schedule may be regarding. Today, we're going to look at furniture. But of course, the Spreadsheet Link and Schedule Excel, the two CTC tools that we're going to look at today, can allow you to create schedules from any BIM content that's within your project. And today, we're going to learn how to use Spreadsheet Link to export and import data. I'm going to show you how to use Schedule Excel to then take that schedule, reproduce that information, and import that into Revit. And the great thing about these two programs, as I'm going to show you, is that because they relate to the BIM data within your project, if that data is manipulated or changes within your project, the two are interrelatable. They actually have auto update functions to where your data can be updated back and forth between not only the Excel spreadsheet, but also the project itself and the parameter data within your project. So Spreadsheet Link, that's the first one. I'm just going to talk real briefly here at the beginning and talk about a couple, talk about the programs, and then we're actually going to dive in and do a demo. I do want to mention before we get started as well, if you have any questions, feel free to type those up in the chat or the Q&A, and I'll try to get to those either during or at the end of the presentation. I'm also going to show you when we get into the Revit model, I'm going to give you an example of the typical workflow now of creating this schedule within Revit. And as this says, while it's great for modeling buildings, it's not really good at manipulating that data. The schedules that you create within Revit are very limited as to how you can sort and quantify that information. Spreadsheet Link, what this will do, and I'll show you in the demo, will allow us to create a schedule similar to how you do in Revit, but it's going to apply BIM data identifiers to that information to where we can then quantify quantify that data and then save those settings to where we can do this and manipulate this data using this spreadsheet on multiple projects. With these two tools, you can also replicate and operate the program just as you would within Excel. So you can actually apply Excel formulas. Now, admittedly, I am not an Excel expert, so hopefully I don't get too many questions on specific formulas and quantifying the Excel formula itself. I typically have to visit the internet for that information to find a specific formula, or my wife is an accountant and she's very good at Excel, and sometimes I'll ask her questions on that. But I think the point to make is that we can now, with these tools, quantify and calculate and that data using formulas, which is really a cool part of the Schedule Excel tool. And Schedule Excel will then, once we create that data in Spreadsheet Link, Schedule Excel allows us to then import that information. Now we can import directly from Excel. In other words, if we created a native Excel spreadsheet and then imported that into the project, Schedule Excel will allow you to do that. And the difference between this and just a straight linking within Revit is that it allows us to synchronize and auto update that information as it changes. The difference with using Spreadsheet Link to create your spreadsheet is that it's going to add the GUID data, graphic user ID, which is that orange column on the image that you see in front of you. That orange column are the graphic user IDs for each of those data points, each of those parameters. And so by having a GUID ID, an element ID that we can track, we can then analyze that data. And so by creating the schedule, the Excel schedule within Spreadsheet Link, that allows us then to track that data and analyze it and do a lot more stuff with it. And then Schedule Excel allows us to then link it into our project, either as a schedule view or a drafting view. But enough talking, let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is, since I've started demoing CTC tools, this has got to be one of my favorites, and I do a lot of stuff with these Excel schedule tools. Well, this is just a typical project that we use for our demos. This is the CTC headquarters in Minneapolis, and I'm going to let's just for today, because we're looking at furniture, let's create a schedule. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to create a schedule within Revit using the out-of-the-box method. So we go to View, Schedules. I know I did that a little fast there for those new to this process. Maybe go to View, Schedules, select the type of schedule you want to create. And in this case, we're going to create a furniture schedule. So we've got furniture and furniture systems both, depending on the type of families that you have loaded into your project. But today I'm just going to select furniture. And now I come in and I select my properties, the parameters that I want to use in my schedule. And for this presentation, we're going to use family and type and cost. So I've created my project or my schedule. based off of the elements in my project. Let's make this a little bigger so we can see all these furniture types. They're all mixed in, not really any quantification. And you can also notice that none of my furniture families have any cost associated with those families. Now, first thing we want to do, let's try to clean this up, because right now, you know, the traditional sense of using Excel is that we will want to individualize these, count them, have cost values associated with them, and then get totals off of the cost of those individual pieces of furniture. So ideally, as an interior designer, what you want to be able to do is, without having to import and export data over and over again, if any of your furniture quantities change, if I were to delete this or even copy, paste, and add additional pieces of furniture, I want my formula to be able to count that and shoot me out an updated schedule, so I can then get that to my client with updated furniture costs. And with the schedule tool in Revit, it does not allow you to do that. Let me get back to my schedule that we just created. Let's do a little bit of sorting first. Maybe we want to try to organize these. And again, this may be, you know, secondhand nature to many of you as you do this in your daily workflow. Whoop, and I forgot to uncheck. I don't want to itemize every instance. I want to group them. And I need to sort it by family type. All right, so here's our quantities. It is giving me a grand total. I have 212 pieces of furniture, and all that's doing is counting families, but I still don't have a cost. Maybe I need to go over here and I want to you know, change this chair, this task arm chair. Let's add a cost to it. Maybe it's $100 for this rolling chair. Go back to my furniture. And so I've got $100. I've got that associated cost, but it's not giving me a total of each of those chairs. So we have a little work that we need to do that Revit just won't allow us to accomplish. So let me get out of this, and now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create the CTC tool, or using the CTC tool. Now across the top bar, I've got quite a few different suites. If your company wants a demo on any of these project suites or CTC suites, definitely let us know. We can schedule that. Batch suites, a BIM manager suite. And today we're looking at the BIM project suite, and it's got a lot of different tools in it. All these suites have 14-day trials. The lightly colored tools are the free tools. And after the 14-day trial expires, you can still use some of these free tools that are lightly colored. The dark colored tools are the premium tools that come with a subscription. So of course, because of the, you know, the bang for the buck that you get with the Schedule Excel and Spreadsheet Link, these are both premium tools. Let's go ahead and jump in here for Spreadsheet Link. Now, the way Spreadsheet Link works is very similar to the, you know, what we just did in creating that schedule. We're going to select our categories, select our parameters, and it's over here on the side. You're going to see in the background, it's going to generate an Excel table using this information that I'm going to select. So if we come back in here, select furniture, give it a second to grab my categories and parameters. And then we're going to select. Now you can see the first thing it did over here on the left is it actually generated various element IDs. So any of this data that I get ready to add to this schedule is going to now be associated with this graphic user ID, this element ID that Revit can then categorize and quantify and calculate and do all the cool stuff in the background that we want results from, but we don't want to have to mess with trying to calculate these, you know, by hand. So let's scroll down here. I'm going to select family name and type. So again, there's my complete list of all of the furniture families that are in my project. And I'm going to go ahead and add cost. and you can see it's generated cost, and you can see where it's added that cost value that I added just a moment ago on that chair. And actually any of the furniture pieces that are in the project for that value, it associates it with that value. The red is going to be your primary family. So if I were to come in here and indicate the cost of this item, it's going to populate all of these the same through that list. So maybe this cast armchair is $150. It generates this throughout my list wherever the $150 is. And you can see also kind of something funny is that because I populated this in my project, it actually added a decimal point to it. And that's just because of the settings of the Revit model. When I added that data, that parameter in the Revit model automatically added the decimal point. If I wanted to do that here, you know, it rounds it up. But if I do a, you know, 50, that value is still valid and it can still calculate that data and apply that. And how that applies that is that let's go ahead and find, so this is my task arm, office furniture task arm chair, 221, 23, 211. Let's go ahead and I'm going to save this real quick and save it to my cost calculations. Close that, close that, close that. I don't want to save my settings, but if you ever choose to, you can save your settings through your project. I want to find that chair. And so what I wanted to show you was how there is currently not a cost associated with that chair that we just added a value to. And that's because we didn't apply those values. So if I reopen that file again, and see, I've still got the values in there, I can apply those, the active worksheet, to my project. And it's going to say, hey, we just updated 31 elements to your project. Let's close this. And now you can see that individual chair now has that cost associated with it. So it actually applied that parameter value to your project. Now let me show you something else cool. What if, this happens a lot, we always have people in the office that maybe are interns or even receptionists, and they don't have access to Revit or the tools. Maybe you're the only one in your office that has access to these tools, but you need help filling out your data, you know, your spreadsheet for this project. Well, because it's saved, whoop, I opened the wrong one. Let's try this again here. Is that it? Yep, that's it. So because Schedule Excel or Spreadsheet Link allowed me to save that file in the format that I had created, all this data is still here. So as long as I don't edit the element IDs, then Revit can still maintain this. And now I can hand this sheet off to my coworker to help me out. And maybe you've got a master list, and we know that this desk, maybe it's $800, you know, $800 desk. And see how when I fill out the red cell, that's actually an associated array to the other, see, it's protected to those other cells. So if I were to come in, here's a couch, let's say that's like $300, dining room table, you know, of course I'm just making up numbers here, brewer chair. And so you can hand this off to your associate, and then they can come in here and fill out the data. Make sure they get all of the, let's see, perforated, that's just another chair. And a table. Chair. Now you'll notice too that some of these chairs have identical names but different sizes, and that's just this Revit demo that we use has a lot of errors intentionally in it and duplicate families, so we can use some of our other tools to rename families, and that's really kind of how why you're seeing so many variations of identical. I'm just going to start. Okay, so all my values have now been filled out by my helper, and they go ahead and they save the file. And now if I open this file back up in here in Spreadsheet Link, all my values have been filled out, right? Now I can hit apply and give it a second, and it's going to apply all these numerical values to my elements in my project. So it just updated 176 families in my project with my cost value. So if I select any one of these pieces of furniture, I now have a cost associated with that piece of furniture throughout my whole project, multiple floors. It doesn't matter. Even groups of furniture. So this one family actually has two families in it, one for the table and one for the chair. And so even the chair has a value associated with it because it's a family within the project with parameter data. All right, so if that's not cool, now what are we going to do with all this data? We have all of our costs associated now. How can I manipulate that data? Well, there's two different ways we can do it. We can do it within Spreadsheet Link and kind of set up some formulas. We can export this or reopen this file in Excel again and add our formulas there. So I'm going to show you both ways. And how we do that is we come in here and we add a sheet, and it just adds another tab. Let's rename it. And there's two different methods, or there's multiple methods. Like I said, I'm not an expert in Excel formulas. I know there's multiple ways you can do arrays to extrapolate this data and create a list of the furniture types by individual names and then get total costs from that. There's a couple of different ways to make that happen. I'm going to look over here real quick. I've got my cheat sheet over here on this other screen because, like I said, I'm not an Excel expert. But what I want to do is I want to get this information from here to this tab, because this tab is unprotected. It's not locked. This tab is locked and protected other than the red cell data because it all relates to BIM GUID data that I need to protect and keep protected. So I will be manipulating all this data over here in this furniture cost tab and referring back to this tab. And how I'm going to do that, like I said, there's a couple different ways. I can go through here and manually, copy paste the various types of furniture that I have. This is a little bit more, long method of doing this, but I'm going to show you real quick how this all kind of works out if I were to create it in here. And of course, my preferred method is to take it into Excel. So let's do this, and let's say furniture types. And I'm just going to, just like if I was in Excel, I am creating my schedule in here. And then I need to add my formulas. And I'm going to cheat a little bit because I've got my formula over here. I come in here and I put equals, just like if I was within Excel, paste my formula. which is a count if. I want to count my quantities. And then I'm going to highlight this because I need to reference back to my C column. And then hit Control-Shift-Enter. That kind of locks that formula in, makes it an array, just like if you were within Excel. Control-Shift-Enter locks that formula in. Now I'm going to do it. So I've counted these pieces of furniture. I have 31 chairs, task arms. Now I'm going to go ahead and count my totals, my costs. And this is another formula, which is a sum if. And by the way, this video is being recorded, and we will have this posted on ATG's website or YouTube, so you can watch this at a later date if you can't remember all the formulas, which of course I can't. That's why I had to copy paste it over here on the side. But if I highlight my furniture tab, let's go back and reference the D. And then I also need to reference the cost. And so now I've got my cost, my total cost, and the quantity of chairs. So let's go ahead and copy paste this. And let's see, which is that one? That doesn't look right. Why is that one not? Oh, because it's actually giving me the wrong level because I copy pasted it from a previous example that I did when I was testing this out. So I actually am telling it, I need to tell it the correct name. There we go. So now we should be correct. So $4,600, $4,650 for this, $9,600 for this. And so we can get our data here. We could also start adding our sums, but Spreadsheet Link doesn't have all the, I mean, it allows you to type in the sum. So if I wanted to do an equal and a sum, let me do that up here. And, you know, I could highlight those just like if I was typing it in and get my totals. But of course, I like doing this in Excel because it's a little bit more intuitive. It has the buttons that I can select to add my formulas. So let me show you a different workflow. This is the workflow I use. I wanted to show you how to do it within Spreadsheet Link. Let me go ahead and save. But then I'm going to show you how using, oh, because I have it open in another file. That's probably not a good idea, is it? Let me close that. Okay, there we go. Try that again. By using it by creating it in Excel, I can then apply any kind of formula and sort and manipulate my data and do all my cell shading and everything to make it look like my company's standard. I can do it now within Excel and then import that file back into Revit. As long as I'm not manipulating my data here on the first tab, we're all good. So let's, you know, I can come in here and do some lines and format the cells and do some shading. Maybe I want it all around with a skinny inside. And then maybe I want to make these a different color instead of the green. You know, whatever your company's standard may be, you know, this is where you would very easily be able to manipulate that data. Now, I showed you the example of copy pasting the titles, which is a very long, drawn out process. But if you have a small list, that might be an easy way to do it. But with our project, we have a lot of pieces of furniture. I really don't want to have to you know, sort all that data. So what I do is I actually use the data and manipulate and sort that information by using a filter. The bad thing with filters is you have to manipulate and sort it within the same tab. You can't do it outside of the tab. And let me show you what I'm talking about. If I were to come in here, oh, yep, see, I need to select my range, do an advanced filter, and then I'm going to copy this list to another location. So here's my list range, all the pieces of furniture I have. And then I need to copy it to, and I'm just going to put it here at the top and make unique records only. What this is going to do is go through this list and only filter a list for me of my unique pieces of furniture. So you can see it sorted that out. Now, this is the trick. Now I have a list that I can copy paste. And if I add other pieces of furniture within my Revit project, and I go back into schedule or Spreadsheet Link and kind of update and sort, it will add the pieces of furniture, which will then also add the new furniture to my list. That then all I have to do is copy paste, come over to this tab. I'm going to put it right there. So there's my new list of furniture. That's the complete list of everything in my project. I can copy this formula, and I need to make sure that I'm not, yeah, that's right. I need to make sure that it's actually referencing the same cells that I'm currently showing to the left. Same with this one. And then what I can do is this little trick, populate, double check my work here, CD. So there's a piece that doesn't have a number in it. I missed one somewhere. Let me check my formula. CC 13. Oh, okay. That's because I'm still using this that's the data that we inputted at the beginning. I hadn't seen that before. Where, oh, because my original's not there. That's why. There it is right there. There it is. Now it's populated. That slight variation allowed it to not populate. All right, well, but now I have my formulas, I have the format, I have everything kind of set up that I want, and I've got all my pieces of furniture. And now that I'm in Excel, I can just come in and do the sum feature. So if I go and do it the easy way, sure. Let's do that again, sum, yes. Now let's make all these whoop, wrong one. I don't need to do both. I just want to do the right one for cash. US dollars, of course, is what's currently shown. So now my totals are 212 pieces of furniture, and total cost right now is $62,000. I'm going to blow this out because what we're going to do here with the next part is we're going to import this into our project as a schedule that can be placed on a sheet, and then manipulate that on our sheets however we need to in every project. And again, you can save these as settings to where you can utilize this template over and over and over again on multiple projects, however many times you need to. Let's get rid of this. Maybe I'll just get rid of this. Again, I'm sorry, I shouldn't spend too much time on the formatting. I'm sure you've seen this before. I just kind of get caught up in how I want it to look. That's how architects are. We want to make everything look perfect before we get into putting it on the sheet. So furniture, quantity, cost, totals. This is all stuff that we normally would not be able to do in Revit. I'm going to close. Let's save it. Let's open up, let's open up my spreadsheet link. This is the first part of our step of importing all this information back into our project, because by importing this information and these data values now, I can apply them to all these costs can now be applied to my families. So it just updated 212 families in my project. I can go ahead and close this. And now I can, and just to show you again, we can click on the different pieces of furniture, see that data, see that cost value. And now I can open my schedule Excel. Now the fun part, we get to put it on a sheet. So I'm going to go in and do an add, open up this is schedule Excel. This tool is what allows me to import and link this information now into my Revit project. Again, data, tab. I'm going to then select which worksheet I want to add to my project. Furniture total cost. I want to create a new view, and I can do this two different ways. I can insert it as a schedule view, or I can insert this as a drafting view. The difference is that with a drafting view, this is going to be a final static schedule. This will not change. This will not update. It becomes a drafting view with text. Now, why you might want to do this using Schedule Excel and Spreadsheet Link is that if your company uses text legends, maybe you use Excel to type out all of your legend notes or general notes, things of that nature. Maybe you just have a copy pasted list from your furniture supplier that you're putting this information in, and it's not going to change specs, whatever. You can do that in Excel, import it, create a drafting view static list that doesn't change, and it just becomes a drafting view. The advantage to the schedule view is that you can use that same information now. So if your keynote or if your legends do change, your specs change, and you load it and auto update those schedules, they will change according to your Excel schedule changing. It's a long description on 2 buttons. My personal preference is, but I typically use a schedule view, because by using schedule view, I can create that schedule and auto update that schedule. So after it just did what I did, I clicked on OK, it loaded it. I now see that I have this schedule, furniture total cost, in my project. Here's the file path for the original Excel file. There's the worksheet tab that I selected, tells you when it's last updated, and auto update is selected. So by using auto update, if changes occur in this and I open it back up in here, I can update and auto update that file. Now I'm going to close this and show you what it did just by clicking that one button. Let's close some of this stuff. I'm going to go to a blank sheet. And if I scroll down here on my schedules, my list of schedules, it created a new schedule for me called Furniture Total Cost. You can rename that to whatever you need it to be. And you can see I just clicked and added that to my project. And there's my list. All right, well, you're like, okay, cool. Now I've got that on there. How does that help me? Well, because all this data is live, I can very quickly and easily make changes. All right, remember this number, 62,025. Let's go back to spreadsheet. Well, you know what? Let's start from the very beginning. Let's go back to our Excel sheet. We just got a cost update from our furniture sales representative, and some of these numbers changed. You know, costs are going up. This dining room set's now $1,200. Maybe this brewer chair has gone up to $250. and this desk is now 900. So we had a lot of values just change. Our values changed over here. Let's go ahead and save that. Close it. Open up Schedule Excel. Oh, wait, actually, I take that back. First thing I need to do is open Spreadsheet Link because I need to assign these new data values to my project. So see, I have my new data values, 66225. Oh, I don't need to. I apologize because I've already got it linked into my project. That's the whole point of Schedule Excel. Schedule Excel. We've got the file. It's linked to that. Let's auto update, update all. It's going to update those values. Sees how it said out of date over there. Let's close it. And now our schedule's updated 66-225. How awesome is that? I love that. Let's do something else because I've got a little bit of time here. Let's do what I said. Maybe the owner says, you know what, we need to add some desks to some additional pieces of, come on. We need to add some additional pieces of furniture to our room. Now, any architects on the call, don't get upset. I'm going to be blocking my egress pathway, but I'm just trying to give you an example. Let's copy all these over. Yeah, put that in. Let's save it. Let me go ahead and go back to my Schedule Excel. Update. Go back to this. See, now it's still 6625. Now the reason being is that you have to go back through the spreadsheet or the Excel spreadsheet because it didn't auto update those values from here. So I need to do an update and to apply values to the project. Get my cost. Let's see. I missed a step. I apologize because I'm missing my values of the desks that I added. Did it have my values? Oh, I didn't. Hold on. So my total still doesn't have the new desks that I added. That was the problem. Spreadsheet link. Oh, I did skip a step. I needed to save my settings. If I had saved my settings and then it would have created a new, duplicated my previous one. I apologize. If you save your settings, if furniture changes or adds, you save your settings, and then when you reopen this spreadsheet that you did previously, then you can actually update the data. And I missed that step. I apologize. Well, it does it. Trust my word, because I'm going to have to go back quite a few steps to fix that. But I do want to show you one thing on all of the CTC tools, whether you get the premium or you download and try out the trial. This is a very cool thing on all of the CTC tools. Up here at the top, we have a video link because this is one of the more complicated tools is all the Excel tools. And with the Excel tools or the Spreadsheet Link and Schedule Excel, you click on the video and it takes you straight to YouTube to all the videos that are basically webinars and tutorials on how to use the software. And I definitely have to revisit those from time to time because it's a very complicated and in-depth software. Hopefully I made it look kind of easy other than the last part that I've missed a step of making the changes. You have to go back into the spreadsheet link and save your, open up your previous settings and everything to make those update. But it does do it because it's a BIM data. Any changes I make in the project updates that BIM data. And then again, like I said, videos there. I had my chat and Q&A closed. Okay, well, I do appreciate everyone's time today. Let me jump back to my presentation here. Definitely let us know if you have any needs for software. Maybe you want a demo on the CTC tools, or if you need to learn more about it, or if you just want to see the content that we offer week to week. Check us out on LinkedIn, YouTube. This video, like I said, this video will be posted to YouTube following its production and everything that goes on in marketing. We'll have that posted. And again, thank you for joining me today. My name is Brian Weeks, Senior AEC Technical Specialist at atgusa.com.